Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Just so you know, it is 3:30 right now because I have to catch an earlier ferry. I have a big game tonight, Summit versus Millburn. We're 28-0 going for the undefeated record, so I have to get out of here at 4:05. So I'm doing this at 3:30. I don't think that much is going to change besides maybe up or down a little bit in the last 30 minutes, which at this point you could probably flip a coin. The easy type bounce, which we were looking for this morning, kind of happened. This morning we were down like 80-90 cents in the SPYs, and that's actually what I went with. I bought the SPYs because I wasn't sure what was going to work. A little Apple, a little bit more Twitter, and a few other things on the VTF. Basically, Amazon went from down 10 to up 10. Apple went from down 80 cents up $1.50. SPYs went from down 80 cents up $1 and change. So you had a nice trade there if you came in flattish. I came in flattish, and it felt good after being so long for the past multiple months, especially from Friday into the mayhem on Monday. So at least it gave us a tradable move where we opened lower. Considering if we sold things higher, we wouldn't feel so bad about selling them higher because you could buy them lower. And now today was one of those inside days. An inside day usually means just a little oversold, you work it off a little bit. Doesn't mean a hell of a lot unless you made money because they can't take it away from you, and it doesn't say a lot of what's next. There's the two sides of the coin. You have Trump saying, hey, they're coming, we're going to have a deal. And then you saw something from China saying that, if we put on the tariffs at 12 o'clock Thursday night, which is really Friday morning, that they will figure out a way to retaliate. So nothing's set in stone. So that's why I think a lot of people have their wrists down, and I guess we'll figure out what we want to do for Thursday into Friday based on where we are. Maybe we do some kind of options for Friday just in case we want to be involved in some capacity where risk is premium paid or not. If you go right here to the chart of the S&P cash, you will see right here a bit of an inside day, held above the 2862, which was yesterday's low, and rallied pretty nicely. There wasn't much risk there this morning. Okay, now we're hovering right into old resistance. This is 2898. This is 2900. The high today was what, 2898. What a quinky dink. Excuse me. I think that you could get back towards sometimes. I was trying to figure out where you could draw a trend line here. I guess if you do it like this from this breakout, you could get back and test that. It would also be a test of the moving averages. So if they wanted to push the envelope a little bit more towards what's this 2913, that would be a spot to perhaps short if it happens intraday and you see it, or I see it. To short the close or to be super long into the close, there's really no edge, except for if you're really super duper committed to something. At this point, things are bent, not broken. IBD even has it rally under pressure, not rallying correction, because it's not correction yet, it's just under pressure. We're below the 8 and 21 day and lost some momentum, but we're above the 50 day and some things are acting decent. So this could be, the next stop. Do we open there tomorrow and maybe people will be shorting into it, or do we open flattish and trade into it, and then figure it out, and then everyone's gonna have to guess on Thursday into Friday what we should be doing. But for this, at least, I needed to book some money. So, by having so many positions on, I definitely traded around them, and I could have lost probably 5 times more than I did lose in those 2 days if I would have been stubborn and bought more and not handled it myself and not used my process. So I'm fine with what I lost. So today I was like, okay, I'm gonna day trade, and it wound up being a decent day. So what I tell guys that have lost a decent amount of money, you don't look to make it all back. You look to chip away at it, and there was more than enough action to day trade. So anyway, the Qs also look very similar, held, coming into resistance. I guess they could push up a little bit more into the moving averages, curling down. At that point, I could almost picture myself saying, hey, we bounced, we held them, the S&P held the 50-day, the Qs held above it. We're bouncing into the moving averages, curling down. Do we reclaim them or get rejected there? I could see myself saying that, but I'm not going to be all in looking for that. We'll go over that tomorrow. IWM, I don't even know what it did. I don't even really care, except for it didn't make a new low here, so it doesn't matter much. Amazon, a bit of an inside day, holding this area, getting tight. So at least this looks pretty good above the 21 day. I pretty much didn't think it would run away. That's why, did I write where resistance would be on here? No, but resistance, whatever, around 1930. So now, coming in here, this will tell us if there's anything that could continue to the upside. So like 1935 is resistance, this was your support. getting tight again. Do we break this to the downside, or does this hold in here and does it, perk up? I'm not in Amazon right now. I am in a little bit of Apple right now. We'll see how this does, just because it was easier to handle. They had a nice intraday, tight range. It held above, the 50-day. It's trying to reclaim the 21-day. It did hold yesterday's low. Just a trade for now. If anything, I probably won't even be in it overnight by the time I head back to my computer. All in all, though, hanging in there. Facebook was a little bit weaker today, but it did hold yesterday's low also, so hanging in there. Just an inside day as a chart builds, and this doesn't really say much except for it's still kind of bent but not broken. Netflix was more on the broken side. I guess you could say it's trying to, recapture the 50-day, but came off pretty fast. Disney's tonight, so I think it's been the opposite of Disney, meaning like, Disney's strong, Netflix is weak, just the way the computers are programmed. They get out around here, and now whatever it is, you can move this line down, and this low here is now 361.36. So that's your new point of reference. It's been very lethargic, and it is what it is. Still in the upper end of this range. It's just nothing to do here, and it lost momentum. Google did a whole lot of nothing today also, still hanging in this range, still has a huge gap and never got filled. Some people think this is a bear flag for continuation down, which it could. Some people think it's going to lull everyone to sleep and then get in there, but it'll need a good market for that, so we'll see. What else? Intel, some guys said, let's take a look at the semis. Intel's just trying to hold 50.22, nothing special. AMD had a bit of a better bounce, holding around here, still in the range, but just something to knick-knack if you like. It did get above yesterday's high, so something that, did that more than something else. NVIDIA, what are you doing? Yeah, kind of gets a little small red dog reversal, still below the moving averages, not a whole hell of a lot to do. Xilinx, what are you doing? Getting tight here, so the question is, will we get more of a bounce? This is worth a look if you're a Xilinx fan. It's hanging in there. Again, some people think this is a pole, this is a flag, it's going to continue down, but recently, over the past multiple years, we've been in a strong tape. These little consolidations go more to the upside than to the downside, but at least you have your point of references. I'm not involved there. Boeing, some guys made good money short when it broke below, and then some guys made some money with the red dog reversal here today. I didn't trade it either way, but I just try to point it out for you guys. So this low here was what? 355.02, went below it, reclaimed it. Just got to be a little careful because it's going to be pushed around with the China news. So sometimes it's good if it goes your way, but sometimes it's bad. And to me, it's a battleground, so I'm not going to be playing it. But at least it's tradable. What do I mean by tradable? Broke below a level, paid you, actually opened down today. So if you had it short, you made some money. And if you were looking for from 377 to here, you know what? You caught a bounce. And now maybe you could short a rally if it gets rejected there, if it gets there. Disney's reporting after the close, poking its head up right here. This is the recent high, so a lot of room between here and there. This was that exhaustion sell on the Avengers news. I'm not taking any Disney into it. This would be support 1 though, 32. Where is it now? It's 35. So I wouldn't be buying this if it just ticks lower here. Maybe this is better support if all of a sudden they disappoint. And if it's super duper good, it's got to get above and stay above here. But I don't see that happening in this tape. It is what it is. Pins. Where is it now? Looked like it was going to try and get above this. Nothing special. I would it's just still building. Held the 28 area. Can't get through the 30 area. Very choppy. Some of you guys are short this beyond. If that's you, it looks like. It's below 75. It's on the lows. That definitely looks like a candidate to be short overnight. Again, it's only 340 right now, so do whatever you got to do here. Some of you guys are short lift. Makes sense. Below this on the dead lows. They tried to save it with with Uber coming out. They didn't want to have sentiment so bad, but I don't even know if they could do that. Right now, it looks like it's breaking below this on volume. So to me, this would be a short sell, not a long, or at least get the hell out of the way. Broke this spot here and looks as if it's gonna, what's this low here? It's already below it. This is 54.32. It's making its way down. There's nothing below. I would just definitely avoid or short, depending on what you do here. PD, Still looks pretty good, hanging out up here. Obviously, as it goes higher, it's harder to trust or have as much size, because at some point it's always privy to some kind of failure, and it just hasn't yet. But this is, on the chosen side. ZM also, someone pointed out. Look how this looked like a huge short. Everyone was short overnight, and then that happened. So now it's still in the game. So just be careful with these things. This TIGR just tried to do a red dog reversal, but it's still it's not finding any real buyers here. Not sure why. Maybe it went too far too fast. I don't know. This was your bounce attempt that failed, so hopefully you're not stuck in this thing. In software, I think TTD has earnings tomorrow, so you have to be careful. This is your momentum high. Again, there's not a lot of things making momentum highs, so just take care of this right here is 232. In order for it to go and be special and to give you a big move, pre-market or whatever, it's going to have sick earnings, like sick, and it's going to have to clear this 232. So in order to have a move, kind of like this one did, now, it's going to, I had to clear this 251 area. It's going to have to clear the 232 area. So that's that. And then NOW is still hanging in there. This is leadership status. It's holding 257. At some point, it looks like it's going to continue. This still, if the market was so bad, this would have broke, I would have thought. Anyway, it still looks pretty good. Last but not least, what's Tesla doing? A whole lot of nothing. Couldn't get above here, couldn't really get below there. Way too much effort for that one. The banks, what's Bank of America doing? Held yesterday's low, still decent. JP Morgan, what did you do? Kind of held yesterday's low for dip buyers. Goldman Sachs, on the weaker side. If you had to choose one of those three names, this is the one I would probably not choose. They're also waiting for news about the whole whatever Malaysia thing they're involved in. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, it's below the moving averages. I tried to be long, and I'm not long it now. Anyway, that's that. And let's take one more look at the spiders before we go. Okay, looks like it's backing off a little bit. Not a whole lot to do here. Okay, it was a decent trade when it was down 80 cents, up $1.50. Now it's really not such a great trade. Anything could happen overnight. We've seen it. We've had pretty much 3 down opens, so not to say because we had 3 down opens tomorrow we could have an up open, but I wouldn't just be playing for a down open because that's the way it's happening. I would be very light right here as we wait to see how we trade leading up to Thursday's close. Tomorrow's what? Tomorrow's Thursday, so we'll see how it goes. If they're gapped up big tomorrow, you could probably fade them into the 2900, 2913. If we're down, we could maybe buy them versus today or yesterday's low, and just knick-knack and make a little bit of money and wait and see, and then see how things settle as the market needs to prove what's next instead of us thinking about and putting ourselves in harm's way with what's next. Again, it's 3:45 or 3:48. It's not 4 o'clock. Some things still have to trade into the close, so don't take these as exact prices, but I'd be very low gross, low net into tomorrow. There's no reason to be big. Have a great night.